Hey, what's going on everyone? JSTCG here, coming at you with a Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile, and today we're going to be going over my new Striker deck for the new format that just went into effect last week. So I haven't been playing that much Yu-Gi-Oh! The last couple of formats just because it hasn't really been fun. But this new list really shook up the meta, added a bunch of new cards on and off of the list, so I thought I'd build Striker again. It's one of my favorite decks, and it's been on the back burner ever since like Tearlament and Sprite and Cash came out. I just haven't played it in a long time, but we got engaged to 2, we got multi-roll to 3, so I thought I'd mess around with the deck again and come up with a list. This is what I've been playing so far, but I'm sure it's bound to change. We'll see how the meta shapes up, but I do plan on taking this to locals this week, so we'll see how that goes. But I'll show you what I have built so far and talk about maybe some future changes. Before we get into the video, I don't really plug this stuff, but if you guys check the description box below, there's a lot of different ways you can support the channel if you want to. There's a TCG Player affiliate link, so if you want to buy cards, you can use that link. There's a Your Playmat link down below if you're looking for custom playmats or sleeves or anything like that. You can use my link to save a couple bucks and earn me a couple bucks, which is much appreciated. And there's of course channel memberships, a Patreon, and I also make music. It's all copyright free, so you can use it in your videos or just listen to it, have it on in the background while you're doing stuff. And if you like that, give it a listen, let me know what you think, and it's a free way to just support me and get my music out there, so I appreciate it. Anyways, enough with that, let's jump into the deck profile. So starting off with the monsters, 3 Ray, best girl here. Sorry for the glare. There we go. 3 Ray. I mean, we're always going to play 3 of her, and 1 Rose. I always go back and forth if I want to play 2 or 1 Rose. Currently I'm on 1, but I did start off with 2. I play Desires in here, so sometimes, yeah, you banish the 1 Rose, but like, as long as you get access to Ray, that's totally fine. Part of me still wants to play 2 Rose, but I think, honestly, you are fine with the 1. And this is a solid 40 card list. I didn't want to bump it up to 41, and I cut the Rose, the second Rose that I had for, I think I added, what did I add? Oh, I added, spoiler alert, a second Area 0, so that's been working out pretty good too. So yeah, 3 Ray, 1 Rose. And then hand traps, we have triple Ash, triple Ogre, and triple Effect Veiler. Ash and Effect Veiler I picked because they're like the most generic, good against a lot of different things. Ash is great against branded. And then Ogre, I wasn't sure if I wanted to play Nib or Ogre or Bell. I may try cutting the Ogre for Nib to see. It kind of depends on what is going on at my locals, because there are probably 2 or 3 Striker players there, and I think Ogre's good against the mirror match. So I don't know, we'll have to see. But yeah, the only really big change here is maybe testing out Nib in replace of the Ogres, but Ogre's still pretty good, and we'll see how locals goes. So you guys know there's a lot of spells in here, so 3 copies of Linkage. Insane card, one of the newest Sky Striker cards, honestly. Great artwork, amazing effect. I was playing 2, but I quickly bumped this up to 3. And then 3 Widow Anchor. This is probably my favorite spell. I do love Engage, and I do love that there's 2 now, but Widow Anchor is honestly my favorite. Then here we go, 2 copies of Engage. So glad this card's back at 2. Maybe next list we'll see it at 3. Copium? I don't know, but yeah, 2 Engage is great. I have engaged in 2 Engage, but yeah, I mean, if you can play 2 copies, we might as well play the 2. Then the other card, I'm only playing 2, even though we can play 3, is multi-roll. I like having 1 in case 1 gets banished off of Desires, or maybe they destroy 1 right away and you can get access to the second one. So I think 2 is good. You don't really want to open multiple or anything like that, but I like having the second copy just in case. That's kind of how I felt about Rose too, but I eventually cut her. I don't think I'd go back to 1 multi-roll though, but I don't think I'd play 3. And then we have double Afterburners. This is probably my second favorite spell of the deck. Then double shark cannon. This is another card I kind of go back and forth if I'm going to play one or two. But for right now, I just decided to throw in the second copy. And then we have 2 Area 0. That pretty much has never changed from previous deck profiles and Sky Striker builds that I've done. And then for the one of Sky Strikers, we have Hornet Drones and Eagle Booster. Overall, very standard Sky Striker spell lineup. I really wouldn't change a whole lot with this. And it's just kind of one of those things, like depending on what some of the popular decks are, maybe you go up to 3 Afterburners, maybe you take out 1 Shark Cannon, or maybe you switch that around. Maybe at some point 3 Shark Cannon will be necessary. But yeah, that always kind of fluctuates, you know, by a copy or 2. But overall, I wouldn't really change this. I think it's really solid. Then 2 Desires. I was planning on playing Prosperities, but Desires is good. And now that, you know, some of our important cards we can play multiples of, like, you know, 2 engage, 2 or 3 multi-roll. A lot of these are, you're playing 2 or 3 copies of everything, including your important hand traps. So you can afford to banish 1 or 2 copies even, and draw 2 is just insane. And the extra deck is more, you don't really want to be banishing a bunch of cards from your extra deck, you know. So I decided to play Desires over Prosperity, and I think that's the way to go. But I mean, there are a few different ways you can build Striker. Just kind of depends on how you want to go about it and what type of draw cards you want to use. Then 2 Lightning Storm. This is primarily a going second build. There's some going first cards in the side deck, so I thought Lightning Storm would be great. I mean, you can destroy monsters, you can destroy spells or traps. Labyrinth is a popular deck. This hurts cash, so I just thought this was a really good card. I had Cosmics in here at first, but I decided to get a little bit more aggressive with Lightning Storms. And then we have a Terraforming to get to the Area 0, and a Reinforcement of the Army. Search out your Rare Rose. And then for the last card, 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. So yeah, it's a solid 40 card list. Like I said, the only other thing I might change up is the hand trap ratio and what those hand traps are, but that's where testing and learning what the meta is shaping up to be comes into play. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's move on to the extra deck and then the side deck. All right, extra deck, again, pretty standard. So we have 3 Avara Kagari, 3 Shizuku, 2 Hayate. I had 3 in here because there are a couple flex spots in here. It's pretty much like a solid 13, maybe 12 monsters, and then the other 2 or 3 you can kind of change up how you want. But yeah, 2 Hayate, which I think is fine, 1 Kaina, and then 1 Zeke. Kind of want to play a second one. It's not totally necessary though. I've pretty much always just played 1, but like with cash, it might be nice to have a second copy available. But I think I only have 1 copy. I looked through a couple binders that I have and I couldn't find a second one, although I could have sworn I had 2, but it is what it is. It's fine. And then I'm playing 2 Charmers. We have Dark and Lina. I cut the 3rd Hayate for Lina. I think both of these Charmers are really good. And then from there, we can get into Celine, plus we have Effect Veiler. And then I have Nightmare Unicorn, and then our big playmaker here, Access Code Talker. All right, now the side deck is probably the biggest thing that will change, just depending again on what my locals is looking like and what the meta is shaping up to be, and it depends on what your local meta is. You might want to play different cards than I do, but I have been messing with this deck on EDO Pro, and the side deck's been pretty decent on there so far, so we'll just kind of have to see. But one thing, I just am gonna say this because I don't know who's listening or who's watching, but I will never put a side deck behind a paywall. I know some bigger content creators that are probably much better players than me put their side decks behind a paywall, And I think that's kind of silly. Now, I don't think you should ever copy someone's side deck completely, because you're going to be playing different decks than they are, and you know, if you have different ratios than them, and it's not going to work out math-wise sometimes with like what you're exactly cutting to, you know, put cards into your deck. So you should have never copy it completely, but like for new players, and even sometimes for me, it's nice to hear people talk about their side decks and what they're doing and how they're siding in and out. And it's okay to try to copy that or understand their thinking behind it and try out different ratios for yourself. And I just think it's kind of silly when creators put their side decks behind a paywall, even if it's $1. It's like you're already filming the video. It takes maybe a couple minutes, depending on how much you're going to explain, to talk about your side deck. And it's great knowledge for people. So just so you know, I mean, I don't ever really plan to paywall anything. My channel's not even that big, or it wouldn't even be worth it to do it right now. Sorry, this is a super long rant, but like I've seen 3 creators this week that have been like putting certain parts of their videos behind paywalls, and I just thought that was kind of silly. I get supporting them, and there's other ways you can support them, but I don't know. That's just me. Anyways, rant over. Let's talk about this. 3 copies of Ghost Bell. Another all-around great hand trap. This could make it into the main deck, but for right now it's in the side. I want to test out Nib probably before I try adding this to the main. And 2 copies of Gamma Seal. Great to get over, like Nice Dark Dragoon and Kashtira cards, then 1 Pankratops. I do play some more spells, being just back row hate, 2 Cosmic and Harpy's Feather Duster. You could play possibly Twin Twisters. I like Cosmic. Well, I guess Twin Twisters is a quick play too, but I like having Cosmic as a quick play. Combos well with your other spell cards that you have. Cosmic's good against, you know, some annoying cards like Skill Drain. Maybe they have other floodgates. And then we have There Can Only Be One. Great going first card, along with Dimensional Barrier. Really good against Branded. Call Fusion, they really can't do anything. Good against synchro-based decks, Sword Soul. I actually did play against a random like Stardust synchro turbo deck. I don't know what they were doing. They synchroed a ton of monsters game 1, and then I was just like, Dimensional Barrier synchro, and they passed. Yeah, 15 cards. Like I said, this will probably change up the most just through testing and how the meta changes in the next month or 2, but yeah, I've been really liking this deck so far. So there you guys have it. That is my updated Striker deck profile for the new June 2023 format. I have a lot of deck profiles I want to bring to the channel over the next couple of weeks. Some are competitive, some are just more fun casual decks that I've been putting together and playing just like for fun at locals or with friends, so stay tuned for those. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button and subscribe. It's much appreciated if you did, and I'll catch you guys in a new video soon. I hope you all take care. Until next time, peace out and have a good one.